Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Open Mic with the MVP Marco. I am, of course, your host, the MVP Marco. Do a quick intro. Obviously, you want to check things out over on chickfoley.com. That's where you'll find everything Chick Foley show related. You'll find this show, Open Mic with the MVP. You'll find, obviously, the flagship show, Chick Foley Show, as well as the Goal Line, which is our sports oriented show. I'm not on it. That's run by Seth and Jordan. So definitely check that out. And then you have the Chick Foley Show, which is, like I said, the flagship show. That's where you hear everything. And don't forget, also follow me at the MVP Marco on pretty much everything except for TikTok. For some reason, I think someone either took my name or I signed up for it and I forgot that my name was there. And now it's like the MVP Marco underscore. So that was my mistake, or someone's just mean and took my name. Anyway, definitely check out our brethren, as we like to call them, the Pod Foundation, the Turnbuckle Tavern. I'm also on their feed. We do a show called The Raw Down every Tuesday night at 9 on Patreon. It's live. Myself and J-Bone, who also runs a show called Coming Down the Aisle. Definitely check that out. And we also have the Extra Cooler show with Nick, Extra Cooler, and Matt and the rest of the gang. Definitely check those guys out. And that's pretty much it. That's all. I wanted to get all that stuff out of the way before we get to my guest, my special guest for tonight. So I'll just bring her on. No need for introduction for what I've seen anyway. She has multi-talented. Obviously, I wouldn't have this person on if they weren't multi-talented. So let me bring her on.
Hello, you flatter me.
Oh man, why don't you introduce yourself? Let everyone know your name and why you're here. No, I'm joking.
All right, hi guys. My name is Lucia. I go by Lashes and Lariats on Instagram and TikTok, but also Lucia does. I have two pages. I am I'm on a wrestling podcast myself, but kind of just like a wrestling, content creator. There we go. And
Yes.
I also do some cosplay, things like that. So, and I'm a
Awesome.
makeup artist as well. So, lots of stuff.
We'll definitely get to that because I did not know. See, I follow your Lashes and Lariats page, but I did not know. I seen like in your bio it says evil twin, and I was like, oh, Lucia. I was like, who's? I was like, she has a twin. So I click on that, and that's your
It's my other
your main
page.
page, as we say, and that's obviously like your more personal stuff
Yeah.
there. And I was like, oh, I was like, this is interesting because I only known you from going through my my feed where they throw people in there that you might be interested in. And obviously I follow a lot of cosplayers, a lot of wrestling oriented, accounts. So you
Mm-hmm.
popped up. I think one of the first things I seen was your Mick Foley or Mankind
Uh-huh.
cosplay that you did. And
One of my favorites.
I got to ask you, so how did you do that from the ground up? That costume? How did you create that costume?
So, I actually got the mask
Mm.
as a Christmas gift.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
that was my only Christmas gift, and it was the best one ever.
I
So
mean, I would agree.
and it was my favorite. So I got that, and then I was actually I did it at BlurredCon, and I
Yep.
was like, I need to do like another wrestler because I was like, I was gonna do Roddy Piper, but I was like, that
Yep.
one's gonna be kind of like something cute, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta have a really good one,
Yep.
and then I was like, wait a minute, I have a Mick Foley or a Mankind mask. I'm like, let me see if I can get it in. It took me forever to get it on because my hair got stuck in the Velcro.
Oh my God,
Um,
jeez.
but figured it out, and then I'm like, okay, it's gonna be hot. Let's just buy some shorts, get a button up, one of my socks.
Oh,
So that's where it came from, right
oh
there.
man. No, because I think you're the third woman that I seen with Mick Foley like mask. So the first one I've ever seen was obviously Sheena Chick Foley.
Hmm.
That's pretty much where she, the whole
Hmm.
origin is Mick Foley based. And then Over the Moonsault, who I just interviewed, she also, if you go to her page, she's a wrestling cosplayer as well. She also as a man, and you're the third person. You don't really see many ladies doing the Mick Foley or Mankind cosplay. So you're like 1 in 3 that I've seen. So I mean, there might be more out there, but you're the third one that I've seen do it. It's a hard one to pull
Yeah.
off. That's the other thing, as you actually just kind of mentioned there. It's not an easy cosplay to pull off at
It's
all. But
not. Although I didn't have to put on any makeup and I did not have to do my hair at all that day. So that was actually a pretty good day. Just getting my
that
hair out of the Velcro was like the worst part.
well, you kind of probably just pulling your hair out like he did back in the day. We just after the match just rip his
Yep, pretty
rip his
much.
hair out
That's
of his
basically
head.
what it was. Yeah.
Now I see that you mentioned obviously Roddy Piper, and there's other cosplays that you do. Um, I love the Bull Nakano one that you did
Thank
there
you.
with the face paint. That was pretty awesome. And
Mhm.
because you kind of mentioned it, you do other you I mean you don't just do wrestling cosplay, you do other cosplays as well.
Mhm.
How did you like where did that idea come from? Like did you start with wrestling cosplay and then work your way outward, or was it outward and then worked your way into wrestling cosplay?
So funny enough, I am actually one of the newer wrestling fans. So
Hmm.
I did not grow up with wrestling. My parents were like, "Nope, this is way too, you're a girl and you
Yeah.
have to, go do ballet and all that
Yep.
other stuff." So but yeah, no, I didn't watch it as a child, but what got me started into cosplay was I moved from my hometown. I moved here. I'm in Charlotte and I moved from Detroit.
Okay.
And I was a stay-at-home mom and I was bored. And so I, I never worn makeup, really, wasn't really like my thing. Never had even heard of cosplay before. But I did see a girl who was like dressing up in her costumes, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I was like, okay, I'm poor, so I can't afford a costume. So I actually started out by drawing my costumes on my body and then painting it in.
Oh.
So then that turned into, okay, people are paying me to do stuff now, so I can afford costumes. So that's where the costume started. But then I would say maybe about, what are we looking at now? Like maybe, I think it's been about 7 years, 6 years maybe that I've been watching wrestling. Um, I started watching, and I actually only started watching it like really. My ex at the time, he would have it on in the background and stuff. I didn't pay any
Yeah.
attention to it. But I really started watching it. One day he was just going back and watching like old WrestleManias and old like pay-per-views and stuff like that. And
Yep.
he was watching Hell in a Cell 98.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, okay, yeah, this is cool, whatever. And then that's when the Taker and Mankind match happened, when Hell in a
Yep.
Cell. Yep.
Oh yeah.
And after I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is my shit now. This is mine. This is mine here. I want this. I need this all the time." So Mick Foley, I credit him as the reason why I'm even, doing any of this wrestling stuff at all. So ever since then, from that day forward, I watch wrestling like every day.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
that's one of those things where like I've interviewed people on here before, and obviously the one thing I love about wrestling is that you don't have to be there from the beginning. You could, like you said, start off like pretty new, and then if
Mm-hmm.
it gains your interest, obviously you're gonna work your way backwards to see like go a little bit further back to like
Yep.
maybe you'll find out where this came from or who this
Yep.
person is, that type of stuff. So I don't always think you're. I mean, obviously, if you've been in the wrestling community, people always feel like you have to know wrestling from the from the whenever it began all the way up until now. And I think that's just kind of ridiculous. I think someone's going to go way back when to like learn every single wrestler and every single
Mm-hmm.
wrestling move and stuff like that. I like the fact that you've seen something that interested you and it kind of sparked your interest. And that was one of the questions I used to ask. So I'll just ask it now. So like would if you were to bring somebody in that was a casual as they call them, like a casual wrestling fan, what
Mm-hmm.
match would you show them to bring them into wrestling?
That match right
That
there.
match.
That's the one. That's
That's
the one. I would also say maybe so funny enough, like I was like, I didn't think there was, because I didn't see many, black women in, even watching it, talking about it, any of that. So I was kind of like, I didn't, you know, do too much with it. I kind of just watched it on my own time, didn't really talk about it. And then I had a Twitch page, and I would go live on Twitch, but I would just be doing makeup, like it would be makeup, me just talking. But then
yeah,
one day I was like, hey, so I actually want to watch wrestling right now, so I'm gonna watch it. And you guys can watch it with me if you want. Like, I know that's not really the thing we do here, but let's just, I didn't have any I had like maybe like 10 followers. I'm like, I
yeah,
don't know, I don't care. So then we started watching wrestling, and then people started following and like finding me because we're watching this, and like they would be like, oh, if you like this match, go watch this match. So then
yeah,
we watch that match. So I
yep.
actually know a lot of my history because of Twitch. So yeah, no, I would do either that Hell in a Cell match, or I would do there was a, oh my goodness, Minoru Suzuki, and I can't remember who it was with, but it was against Kana, Asuka.
Uh, oh, it's a
Yeah,
gender match.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I think
yeah.
I think I actually seen clips of that on like now. I mean, I post a lot of like the shortened versions of matches and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I think I did see that. Yeah, yeah, it's
That
definitely
was
a great
crazy,
recommendation. The crazy ass match too.
crazy. I'm a
Um,
death match girl.
okay.
Love death match wrestling and technical wrestling. Those are my favorite. So,
Okay. All
yep.
right.
Didn't know
What
that either. Had no idea.
No, I mean, what drew you to like deathmatch wrestling? Because that's not like a first thing that you
Yeah,
would.
not the first thing most people think. So, well, it really was, Mick Foley and everything he's done, and it was kind
Yeah.
of like when I think, wow, that sounds really sick now that I'm about to say it out loud. But the reason why I like that match so much is because he was destroyed
Oh yeah.
and came back. And I was like, that's
Yes.
so badass. And then he fell. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, love this. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
To know none of that stuff was like even planned too, because they
crazy,
recently
right?
did a video together. I think it was like I think the anniversary is. It has to be like almost like what 20 years or 25 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they did a video together, sitting together, and they're commentating on the match and stuff. And obviously none of that was
None of it was
planned. I mean,
planned. Yep.
Mick Foley wanted to climb to the top. They're like, nah, we don't really think you should do that. It's not really built for your weight, both of you guys on top. And obviously, as you've seen, the things broke and he fell through. And then him
Awesome.
getting thrown off and not even remembering after that, like
Awesome.
just going through the match without even,
And
knowing
just
who he
him getting
was.
back up and going and doing it again. I was like, that is
Insane.
so badass.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. Yeah. So,
there's
yep.
a
After
yeah,
that, I was hooked.
there's a lot of people. If you go on YouTube, there's a lot of non wrestling fans that do like reaction videos to that match. Just to like,
Yeah.
and everyone has the same reaction. It's like they go
Crazy.
and they go, oh, isn't this kind of like scripted or predetermined? It's like then as they're going along, they're like, right when he gets thrown off, they're like, oh my god, what the hell? And then like and then when he gets thrown through the cage, it gets even like it just like watching the people's like everyone's visceral reactions of
Hmm.
that match is very it's very entertaining. I
Yeah.
highly recommend you watch people do that thing. But I want to go back a little bit to the other side of it. So technical wrestling. So who
Mhm.
on the technical side do you like as a technical wrestler or wrestlers, I should say?
I'm a really, really big Zack Sabre Jr. fan. I actually
Ooh,
found
okay,
him while I was
ZSJ.
on Twitch. Like found out about him because I was like, yeah, guys, I really like, how like when they are like doing like the wrestling moves, not like the flippy flips, but like the wrestling, and they're like,
Yep.
yeah, that's technical wrestling. I was like, oh, I love that. And they're like, oh, you're gonna love this guy. Go look him up. So we had a whole like Zack Sabre Jr. week that time. So but I don't stream right now
Yeah.
because like I moved and my setup is all different and my work stuff is over here, and I have too many screens for work, not enough, so just not enough room. But eventually, hopefully, I'll get back to it. But yeah, no, that's how I started. Zack Sabre Jr. I love Bryan, obviously,
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Let me think. Oh goodness, I'm gonna draw blanks. I love Pac, and I love oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank right now? I cannot think. Kyle O'Reilly.
Okay. Oh
Love
yeah,
them. They're
of course.
amazing.
What about? Do you like any? Have you dipped into any of the old school like wrestling or like the old school technical guys like a like a Bret Hart or even Owen Hart,
Yep.
even I'll
All
throw
of the
British Bulldog
above.
in there. Like
All of the above.
I guess
Yes.
you can go Shawn Michaels as well. He was kind of like a mix of high flying and technical
Yeah.
wrestling as well. So,
I
but
mean, I like the ones that are like they're down on the ground and they're all that like, yeah, high flying is cool, I'm gonna go toward more the people with like the technical wrestling more so than the high flyer.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did. We were doing. I think we were. I think on the Chick Foley show we were doing a recap of Wrestle Dream, AEW
Hmm.
Wrestle Dream, and that match with Bryan and ZSJ.
So
Like
good.
I mean, I think I was the only one. I forget. I'll have to go back and listen, but I think I was the only one on the show that like that was. I thought that was the best match on that
That was
card.
match of the night for sure,
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
definitely. Like it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. It was one of those things where you can. They were entered. They were doing very technical wrestling, but they were entertaining enough where you weren't even you weren't even thinking about it. You're just like,
Hmm.
just
It was
I was
just
just
back and
more in
forth,
awe of
back and
anything.
forth.
Yeah,
Yeah. Super
amazing.
matchup. Awesome matchup. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it was
sure.
yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. is one of those guys like I mean, I don't think I mean I hope he's not cocky in real life, but if he isn't, he does a very good job on camera
Yes.
as
Yes.
saying he's the best. So do you have a favorite? Are you a do you do tribalism when it comes to wrestling, or are you a fan of everything? So like obviously, there's the AEW diehards and the WWE diehards, and then
So
TNA and all that stuff.
yeah, so I try to get a little bit of everything. I'll be totally honest. I stopped watching WWE when I really was like when I first started like really getting into it. I was like diehard WWE fan,
Yeah,
and then AEW came and I was like, okay, this is another thing. It was never like a I can't watch AEW because I watch W. It was never like that for me. It was
yeah,
kind of like the more wrestling, the better. Like give it all to me. But I actually really stopped watching WWE after there was so much that happened, but Vince made me stop watching WWE, honestly. I
that'll do it.
My heart got broken so many times. I'm like there's so many things you could do with this person or that person and so many people that are, they're sleeping on and I'm like, why didn't you do anything with this storyline
Yeah,
or that it was so many different things and I would, watch it, be super disappointed, and then the next week they would do something that maybe is kind of promising, and then they would disappoint me again. And I'm like,
yeah,
I can't do this. This is like a traumatic, toxic relationship.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I stopped watching any WWE and truly did not come back until he was gone. Like TKO had taken over, he's
yeah,
gone. Like
yep,
that's when I actually got so I'm actually pretty new, like getting back into WWE.
yeah,
I'll be honest with you, I missed the whole like, tribal chief thing. I kind of missed all of it because it was
yeah,
all during the Vince era.
yep,
I know what happened. I know, the stuff, like the summary of it, but
yeah,
I wasn't there for it, unfortunately. So I don't know too much about it. Like, I'm not, but I'm an AEW girl because I can get what I need there. I get my technical wrestling there. And I'm more of a wrestling fan than a
yes.
sports entertainer fan, if that makes sense. So,
No,
like,
that definitely makes a lot. That makes total sense. It's.
yeah.
I always say, well, I don't always say, but Eric Bischoff on his podcast like a while back always said like wrestling is a buffet. It should be there's something for everybody. You don't have to, you know, like something over the other thing. You can pick and choose what types
Yep.
of wrestling you like. You don't have to force anyone to like whatever you like of wrestling. You can, take your own thing and live in your own, bubble and like that type of wrestling. So that's,
Exactly.
I mean, that's what that, I mean, that's how I always try to look at it. Um,
Yep.
I'm trying to get my son to like watch AEW more, but he's not, it's not with WWE. It's obviously it's like the the bright lights and very big production. So I think it like obviously pulls children into it a little bit more, and
It's the
he like
sports
loves.
entertaining of it,
Yeah, he loves Roman
and
Reigns.
that
That's what
love
drew.
that for
Yeah,
them.
that's
Yeah,
what
but
brought
I
him
not for
into
me.
wrestling was Roman
Yeah, not
Reigns,
for
and
me. Give me the
yeah.
match. I don't want the like the intro. I need the match. So
He does love Swerve though. He does love
good
um
storyline.
yeah, he loves Swerve on AEW. Um he does
Because the
love
dance.
yeah, he loves the dance. He loves Orange Cassidy, got him into Orange Cassidy. And obviously
Gotcha.
Mercedes Monet
Oh
is
yeah, I
is
do
over
this
there. So
all the
that kind
time.
of yeah, that kind of brought him into it too, because he obviously recognizes her from WWE. So that kind of
Hmm.
pulled him over there. So he knows some. I'm trying to inch him towards watching it a little bit more. Not that I'm trying to make him a loyalist, but I want him to
Yeah.
like open his eyes to every single
Every
aspect
style,
of
yeah.
every
Everybody
every
has
single
something
aspect of
different.
wrestling. Yeah, it
Yep.
definitely it definitely helps. It opens up your palate a little bit more, and it makes you
You find
a
new
more
people that
intelligent.
way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it makes you more intelligent if you watch every type of wrestling you can. Like you shouldn't
Hmm.
pigeonhole yourself to just being a diehard of this particular thing. Like
Yep.
watch everything. Like you said, when you said deathmatch wrestling, I was like, that's very niche because you don't see deathmatch wrestling all the time. That's like, I mean, when you do, it's like obviously you have GCW,
Oh,
um,
love it.
and then and then in Japan they do like death matches and stuff. I actually
Hmm.
own I own the King of the Death Match tournament DVD from 1995. The one that actually Mick Foley won as Cactus Jack.
Hmm.
Him and I think him and Terry Funk were the final participants in it. And they had like the
Oh, Terry Funk. Oh.
barbed wire ropes. Yes, that's another guy.
Hmm.
Um,
Love
are
Terry
you
Funk.
are you a fan of him as well? Well,
Yes, very
R.I.P.
much. Yes. They told me, they were like, wait, you like, because they at first it was like, I really like the guys that are wrestling, I told about the technical wrestling. And then something happened and I was like, wait, we gotta watch this one. And like I think they saw the excitement on my face when there was like a lot of like blood.
Yeah.
so so
Oh.
then it became like oh my God, you like deathmatch wrestling. Let's watch this one. So yeah.
Oh, you must have loved
I'm definitely a GCW girl. Love GCW. Whenever it's here, I'm there.
Swerve and Hangman.
So
Then if
good.
you're oh my god, yes. That was did you think the drinking of the blood was a little too much, or was it because
It's
that's the
not
first
my
time I've ever
thing.
seen that, I think.
Yeah, not my
Willingly doing
thing,
it.
but someone out there liked it, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't me, but uh,
I mean, doing it willingly. I mean, like when there are matches and like they'll take the blood and like smear it on them or something, or do something like that. But like when you willingly like grab someone's face and like drink their blood,
yeah,
that's a
that
little
was
bit
a
all
lot.
right. But yeah, that I mean, again, another great match. Definitely,
Very much
definitely
so.
would recommend anyone to watch that. Um, another question for you. So obviously you have both your your pages. Do they do you think they differ from each other at all? Obviously, you have the Lashes and Lariats, which is more wrestling oriented. But
Hmm.
do you think they're two separate things, or kind of like all in one? Would you say?
Well, I try to keep the wrestling page a little bit more like wrestling. I do understand that a lot of my like the people who found me when it was just Lucia Does before I got Lashes like up
Yes.
and running, when I just did Lucia Does. A lot of those people came because of the paint and the makeup
Yes.
and that kind of thing. And once again, I love the deathmatch wrestling, so I might be talking about like how something was bloody and all this stuff, and I'm like not talking about a costume, and then people are like, "That's weird." So I was like, let me separate them. But if it ever is like something where like I'm cosplaying or it's something like that, I would share it on both pages and kind of just like collaborate with both pages.
Okay. All
And then I
right.
kind of have like the crossover audience too. So
Okay.
yeah.
And the other thing is, as far as like so where did you learn to, obviously, because I mean, I had to go through and be like as they call like a IG creep and kind of scroll all the way back
Uh-huh.
the Lucia Does page and see like the makeup stuff. Like, where did you learn to do that? Did that take a while to learn, or did you just like one day
I just
just
yeah,
do it?
just did it. I mean, I always used to like when I was younger, I used to draw like Pokemon all over stuff. So I know how to draw a little bit. So I
Yeah.
was just kind of like, well, this is kind of the shape of it. I can kind of like shade it so that it looks, more 3D and stuff like that. But I mean, very minimal drawing skills, so
Yeah,
yeah, that was it.
just just like going through them too, like just like the like you said, like the shading and the detail on a lot of those are pretty amazing. Like you wouldn't think that you would think that someone else would be doing that, but you're doing that all yourself. Like
Yes,
even every
exactly.
like so is it when you do it, is a lot of mirrors? Is it just one mirror? Do you have multiple? Do you have like a whole like thing set
Usually
up?
just one mirror, one light, right? Just like this. And, I might get up and go look in a bigger mirror and then walk back and finish and, like that. But yeah, usually just one mirror. Pretty simple.
Are you afraid to do it backwards or anything like that? Because you're looking
I
in
do
the
it backwards
mirror.
all the time. So actually, if you look on the lashes page, I did a Firefly Fun House where I just kind of drew like the word, like the bubble letters for Firefly Fun House, and then I did
Okay.
like a fiend like on the side there. I
Yeah.
actually did that totally backwards because the picture. I don't know why I didn't think that I could just flip it. I don't know, but I did the whole thing backwards on my chest and drew it out like that backwards. So yeah, I do
Huh.
it. Sometimes it's backwards, but
Huh.
they have this thing where you can flip the picture.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I did watch. I watched one of them when you did the. I think it was the Sting um
Uh-huh.
face paint for the retirement match, and I was
Hmm.
watching it. I was like, that I would definitely mess that up. I wouldn't even like. How do you? Just like just to have that like type of talent and not like. Do you mess up at all? Like, do you have to like
Oh yeah,
do you
all the
start doing
time.
it and then you have to? How do you get? Is it easy to get off and start over again, or do you
It's
just
washable
kind of
paint.
overdo it?
If I have to
Okay.
like take it all off, I get in the shower, rinse it off, and start over.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
that
can't
one
even
actually
imagine.
what didn't take me very long. The Sting one took me maybe a half hour. I think I had a half hour to get ready and get to the Coliseum. So
Awesome. And did you? So just to continue with that, did you to do the Sting face paint? Did you do that from like memory, or did you like watch like because there's videos of him doing it himself, like him doing it. Did you watch him do it at all, or did you just
no,
go? I
I
can
didn't
just do
watch
it.
him do it. I actually so I was watching Sting videos like a while ago and I was like, I like that outfit. So that's where the outfit came from. And I was like, that outfit had a very specific like face paint. There was like it was like blue and it was red. And I was like, I can't really see like all the videos they have of that match. Cause so I did it from the outfit where when it was like I think it was 86 Clash of Champions, I
Yes.
believe. And he
Yep.
was at that arena. So I was
That's
like, I
right.
have to do this one. I was like, I have to. So I remembered the face paint was like black and red and blue. So I was like, I have that in my bag. I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. So I can't like the pictures and the video that they have of the match. They never get like a full, like clear picture of his face. And
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing wasn't exactly like it. I was like, get the shape. It'll be all right. They'll be all
Yeah.
right. They'll know what it is. So yeah, so that's what it was. Just that I just kind of made it up as I was going. But no, I just got the shape, just like the outline part. As long as that part was good, you could literally do whatever in the middle.
that
So
that kind of makes sense. Did you? How
yeah.
did you get the? How'd you get like the pants?
I
Did you order those? Did you make them?
So
Did
the
you?
pants, I just ordered the pants, like the actual like pants from Amazon, and then
Okay.
I went into Hobby Lobby and just got like iron on decals and I cut it out. It's actually in one
Ah.
of the videos. Like I cut out, like I drew it out, drew out a scorpion, and then cut it out and then ironed it on.
Oh, you drew the actual you drew the scorpion yourself?
Yep.
That's see, that's another like talent that I would not. I mean, I used to when I was younger, I used to draw a lot, but I think you have to continue drawing over the
Yeah,
years. Actually, have like
probably got to practice a little.
acquire
Yes.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that's like amazing because
Thank you.
besides you, like like I said, over the moon saw when I Casey when I interviewed her the very first time. She does everything from the ground up. Like she like obviously she knows how to sew and all that stuff. So she sews her own costumes. Obviously, if you listen to a new episode,
Hmm.
life gets in the way. So like now it's a lot of ordering things and
Yeah,
then doing
and
that. But like,
same,
but at the
same.
beginning, she's like she did like if you go on her page, she did like a Ricky the Dragon Steamboat cosplay with the like
Oh,
the
that's
headrest, the
awesome.
wings and all like the dragon wings in it. Like she
Uh huh.
everything sewn everything like from the ground up, which is pretty
I wish
insane
I
to
had
like.
that time and that patience because, man, I
Yeah.
would love to do that. But no, I just order my stuff from Amazon. I make it as simple as possible. Order some stuff. Maybe I can, put a button on it or something.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. So yeah.
I think I mean I do for some reason I interview a lot. I'm not I think I'm like subconsciously like fascinated by cosplay because I think a majority of the people I do interview, like obviously you, Over the Moonsault, Chris Wayne, if you follow him, he's like a model slash cosplayer, and then the Macho Verse, if you ever follow
Oh,
him.
I know him.
Um, yeah, so that's another thing. I was gonna ask you, do you know like other cosplayers there? Have you interacted with any besides Macho Verse?
So I mean, I've talked to a few other creators, like if I share their stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, thanks for, sharing," and then they might follow,
Yeah.
something like that. But like, yeah, I've met other creators. There's none in person yet.
Yes.
Well, no, I am not telling the truth. I've met a few other like wrestling content creators, but not the actual like cosplayers
Okay.
per se. But
Okay.
like, going to cons and stuff,
Yep.
people have podcasts and things like that.
Yep.
So yep, I've met some of them, some of the wrestlers and stuff when you go to shows and things like that. So
Would you ever consider just speaking of like Machoverse? Because I think I asked every cosplayer this, or who anyone that does cosplay. Would you consider doing a full on like taking on a persona like the Machoverse does, like just Macho Man?
yeah.
That's all he does. He does different variations. Because I
Yeah.
had him on the show. I interviewed him. Um, you
He's
know,
awesome.
and would you who would that be if you were to like go like this is my cosplay, this is what I'm set doing, and I'm only gonna do this forever? Who would that be?
It would probably be Mick Foley because I could do four different people. Like
That is very true. That is very that is true. That is very true.
and
That's
honestly, just going up to people in that costume and just being weird and not
yes.
really having to say very much was awesome. Like that was probably my favorite costume of the no, not probably. That was my favorite costume of the weekend for sure. 100%. It was so much fun.
So you stay in character then. That's what
Oh
happens
yeah,
when you get in that
absolutely.
character. You become it. That's
Oh yeah, you gotta be in character. Don't even dress up if you're not gonna be in character.
that is true. So when you were Sting, were you acting like Sting? Were you doing the
No, I
okay?
wasn't, not for Sting, because I was just like, so excited to be there for the day.
Yes.
There was so much going on during that time. Yeah, no, not for Sting, but yeah, I try to be in costume. Like for the Twitch stream, I used to dress up if I could. Like I would dress
Yeah.
up and cosplay and stuff. And there was one time I did a Macho Man. I did a Macho Man. It was really bad. But yeah, I did that one. That was a lot of fun. I've done Luna Vachon, and I tried to like talk like her the whole time. It was really
Oh,
bad.
your voice is probably shot by
It
the end of
my
the.
voice I actually lost my voice. Yeah, good times, good times.
You could do the Bull Nakano. You kind of don't have to speak
I
at all
could,
if you don't
yeah,
want to.
I
Just
could.
have just like have an intimidating
A
presence, if
scowl on my
anything.
face all the time and like
Yeah,
yell,
just
yeah, like yeah, exactly. I
uh,
could do that.
uh, actually, because I want to kind of talk about it. So that when you were there at Revolution, how was
Mhm.
like how was the atmosphere? Was Sting like?
Insane.
Are you like a fan of Sting, like a super fan or anything like that, or
No, 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 not a super fan. Definitely have seen matches. A fucking icon. I'm sorry. Can I cuss on here?
no,
No.
no, you could yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
I wasn't sure. Sorry. I'm trying
I
to
mean,
watch
I've probably
my
done
my
it.
words. At work, I'll say something. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I just said that.
Now let it
But
go.
but yeah, not like a super fan or anything. Definitely have seen. Seen how do you not see a Sting match and you watch wrestling? It
Oh,
doesn't
of
make any
course,
sense at
yeah.
all. So you know different like phases were so cool and stuff like that, but not a huge like I only watch Sting kind of fan, but you had to dress up for the
Mm,
retirement,
of
But that was
course.
the atmosphere was awesome. It was like it felt different than any other like match that I've gone to, like any other like collision that I've gone to, or rampage, or whatever else that I've gone to, felt different. It was more like people were excited, like they were ready to see Sting. There were so many people, and they were all dressed up as Sting. So that was pretty cool. A lot of people dressed up as Sting.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, it was actually really fun, and that was actually the first time they did the meat chants too. You know how
Oh,
they
okay.
That was the first time they did that. I was very happy to say that I was part of the crowd that did the meat chants first. So yeah.
That's all. That's actually that's funny. Did you start it or did you
I
just
didn't know, but
participate as it?
there were a couple guys in my section that were screaming meat before everybody else, and I was like, I like this. Let me join. I like the meat.
It's contagious, pretty
It
much.
is.
That's what happens. Did you do you get to meet like any? I seen a few people that you met, like I seen on like Shelton Benjamin and stuff like that. Have you ever
Yeah.
met like any other wrestlers
Yeah.
besides?
I've actually met a few wrestlers. I'm not like a bragger. I'm not like, hey guys, but
Yeah.
no, I've actually met a few. I never posted it. I probably should. I probably will now that I'm talking about it. But I actually did Sunny Kiss's makeup for an Ashe match.
What?
Yeah, for
Really?
Ashe wrestling. Yeah, Sunny's first like his debut in Ashe. I did his makeup for that. Let me think. I have also met I think for the most part, I pretty much put everything on there. I've met AJ Styles. Like I got to Too Sweet AJ Styles, but
Oh,
I don't have
nice.
that video anymore, unfortunately. Um, I've spoken to like Batista before. Um, it was
Her-
online, but it was because I did like a Drax cosplay, and he was like, "Oh, that's really cool. You're really, really good at what you do." That kind of thing. He was really nice.
That's awesome.
Um, Let me think. I mean, I'm very much like an indies girl, right? I love indies. Like wrestling, I'll go to like little indie shows. If it's a
Okay.
small show, I am there. Like that
Yep.
sounds like so much fun. So I go to these indie shows, and you meet a lot of wrestlers who are, a little bit bigger now. At the time they weren't. Like
Yep.
I've met like Jake something, and I've met his name isn't Lucky Ali anymore. It's I can't remember. He's in NXT, but he's hurt right now. Um, I've met a few people, because these small, shows, they kind of hang out after and kind of just
Yep.
talk to people after. Oh, I've met Swole. I've met Promise Braxton. I've met Tasha Steeles. I met a few people, like, but I don't like, the first thing I do is not to be like, hey, let's take this picture.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not that kind of a person. Like it's funny that I create content. People will tell you all the time, like people that actually know me, they'll be like, I can't believe you actually content create, because the first thing I do is not pull out I don't pull out my phone. Like
Yeah.
when I'm at a thing, I try to enjoy the thing unless I know I have to get video and pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
wrestling shows, I'll take video and picture because I have people that are like, "Hey, can you show part of this match?" So I'll actually do it. But like
Yeah.
if it was up to me, honestly, I would not pull out my camera at all. Like I am very much a in the moment kind of a person. So I do miss a lot of like, ways to be able to like brag and say I met this person, that, but I
Yeah.
missed a lot of that.
I'm the same way. I always when I'm at a show, I'm just you like you said, you're in the moment, you're sitting there watching it. But like
Hmm.
there are instances if you're a wrestling fan, and if you want watching a certain type of match, you'll know like, oh, I should have my phone out right now
Yeah. If
because something
someone's
crazy is
climbing
gonna
up that
happen.
ladder, you better get
Yeah, yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because I went to around here in Mass. There's New England Pro Wrestling, which is
Hmm.
like a school slash a training school, but
Hmm.
they also have Chaotic Wrestling, which is another
Oh, I know
indie
it.
company around here. Yeah, so like
Hmm.
I'm actually going to one next week, but I went
Okay.
to they do one at a brewery every year. It's called Night Shift Brewery, but they do
Hmm.
one every year. It's called Owl Mania. So I went there. It was a couple months ago actually, and there was a kind of like a Falls Count Anywhere match, and outside of the brewery, there's this big, like kind of like trailer, um, where
Uh-huh.
there was like a ladder set up, and obviously I was like, they're definitely using that. So
Definitely.
one of the matches came on. The dude climbs up the ladder. He's on the trailer. It's like yay high, and then obviously did the dive onto. I was like, I had my phone. I was like, I had to get my phone out because I know it was gonna happen. But other than that, I
Hmm.
like I'm like you. I just like sit there and watch it. You're in the front row. You get to like experience like an actual wrestling
Hmm.
event, like an intimate type deal where it's not like a big production happening. Um,
Hmm.
and there's nothing like a local wrestling
Love
show.
it.
I've been
It's the
trying to
best.
encourage every time. Just if I'm talking to somebody, definitely go to one. They're
Yep.
amazing.
So
Kids,
much
if you have
fun.
kids, you can bring them as well. They're very interactive too. A lot of the
Yep.
wrestlers, um, you just play into it. That's what, especially if you're a wrestling fan, you know what to do when you go there. And there's a heel, you play into the heel. There's a face, you play into the
Yep.
face. So that's usually
Exactly.
how it
So
goes.
much fun. So much fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, and my other question for you would be, so the name, where did the name come from? Lashes and Lariats. That's a very interesting name.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with something. So before my name, but for my main page, I guess is what I've been calling it. I don't know. My other page, Lucia Does. Before it was that, my name was Is She Black or Asian? And because I'm half black and Asian. So
Okay.
that was like the name for a while. And then I'm like, I really like the like kind of quirky names and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'd been trying to come up with something. I was like, I want to have a wrestling page. When I like really started to pick up like followers on Twitch, I was like, I want to have like a wrestling page because everything I was doing was just kind of like on, Is She Black or Asian at the time.
Yeah.
It was just kind of on there, but like I realized that my page was going a little bit more like wrestling oriented. So I was kind of losing like the like I guess female like kind of like demographic a little
Mm.
bit. So I was like, you know what, let's separate these. And this one will just be like me and what I do outside of this, and then this one will be like more wrestling content.
Yeah.
But I was trying to find a name for it, and I was just like, I can't think of anything that's like wrestling related. Like everyone already had cool names, like Suplex and like like they had cool names. And I'm like, what could my name be? And I'm like, it has to deal something with being like kind of girly and like wrestling. And I was like, what's something that's girly? And I'm like, I love lashes. And I'm like, okay, lashes or something else that's an L that's like wrestling. And like lashes and like ladders didn't like
Yeah.
flow right, you know what I mean? So like lashes and lariats is what I came up with. I love a good buckshot lariat, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I was like, lashes and lariats works. And I did it didn't feel right at first, and then like I kept saying, I'm like, okay, we can do that. So it just stuck.
Huh. Because I was thinking as you were saying that, I was like, oh, what about like lashes and leg drops? That would have been a good one.
I could that maybe, yeah,
That's gonna
you
be
know.
mine. That's it. I'm taking. No, I'm joking. I'm taking lashes and leg drops. No, but no, that's. I always ask everyone like their, especially if they have like a name like that, like what the idea behind it was. Like I had John, who's if you know gold, his name's Gold Bars and Hooks,
Yeah.
and I asked him,
Yep.
and I was like, what? I was like, why that? He was like, oh, because wrestling and hip hop are kind of those are three things that kind of like run concurrent with both things. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like,
Hmm.
hooks, um, bars, arm bars. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. That
It's a
actually
good
makes
name.
sense.
It's
Yeah,
a
no,
good
it
name.
is. It good. I mean, like I said, it's one of those like things where you see and you're just like, where'd they come? I'm not the only one that thinks about it, but I'm always curious as to what went
The
behind the name.
inspiration.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
inspiration behind the name. Like when people go, "Oh, why do they call you MVP Marco?" I'm like, "Well, it's because it was Sheena Chick Foley named me MVP because at the beginning when she first started her podcast before I was even on it, I was always sending in questions and things like that, and or I was doing stuff for like we were figure collectors, so like I would always like help out like people in the area, like if they couldn't find anything and there was something in my area, I would buy it, ship it to them, and all that stuff. So like that's how
So
the
you
name
were
came
the
about.
real
Yeah,
MVP.
I was a real MVP. That's
Gotcha.
what they were saying. So that's how the name came about. So it wasn't like
Okay.
I gave myself the name. I wouldn't call myself that, but that's how it came about. But
Those are the best nicknames, the one that just happened.
yeah, exactly.
Those are
So I
the
was like,
best
oh, I
ones.
was like, yeah. So he just kind of stuck with me in that sense.
Yep.
Um, would you consider because you spoke about like going to local indie shows,
Mhm,
and I know like some content creators go to like get involved with local shows and stuff like that. Is that
mhm.
something you would consider doing, or is that like not on your radar
Oh, yeah,
whatsoever? Like,
like not to wrestle,
no,
because
that's what I mean. Like, not
my
wrestle,
ass
but
ain't
like
doing
be a
nothing
valet,
in
like
no.
ring announce,
Yeah,
commentate.
I would love to. That would be so much fun. Absolutely, yes. Cause I'm such like a huge like supporter of like local stuff, local wrestling, like all of that stuff. Like I'm such a huge supporter of that. I will go to every single thing I can if if I have the
Yeah,
time and the money for it. Absolutely, I'm going and I'm taking everybody that I know with me
yeah,
that can stand me at that time. Yeah, I take
yeah.
all of them. My kids have no say in it. They have to come. Like, so yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I would absolutely do that. I've never been asked, but I would love to.
That'd
That'd
be
be
awesome.
cool.
Cause so no step. You wouldn't step foot in the ring, right? Like
Oh
to
no,
do
that
any
ain't for
like
me. No.
no.
I have problems falling backwards, okay? I'm good. I can't do it. It's funny
um,
because I used to be a cheerleader. Cannot fall backwards. I don't know what that is. I'm super afraid of falling backwards. I don't know.
isn't that one of the things that they like? Is that one of the things you learn being a cheerleader? Is like falling and stuff? And
Well, I was a base, so I wasn't the
oh,
one
okay,
that
so
was
you weren't
up. Yeah, I was the
okay.
one holding at the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
I was firmly on the ground at, most of the time. So,
Because I also interviewed Heel Liz before, and
hmm
she's in Southern California. So and she's like if you go on her IG page, she's like at every single
she's
like
everywhere. Yeah.
local independent thing, and she's like partook in some of these things. Like they've asked her, "Hey, do you
hmm
want to?" And she's hit somebody with a light tube before in the
I
head.
saw that was so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That
So
was
I was like,
so cool.
when I had her on, I was like, "What?" I was like, "How'd that come about?" And she was like, "Hey, she was like, they just asked me. They're like, hey, would you mind being like, doing this?" And I'm like, without any practice, she was like, "No." They just said, "Hey, just take this, go in the ring and do it." I was like, I would not step foot in the ring without trying it first.
Oh
Like,
no, give it to me. I can do it. Trust me. I've seen enough. I can do it. I'm an expert by now. Give it to me. I can do it.
I'd rather take a bump or something. Not like not getting slammed, but like I'd rather take a super kick or
You gonna
a
take that
chop or into
Tony
the
that
chest or something.
the bump that Tony took, that awful bump Tony took?
Yeah, I think a lot of us could do better than what Tony did. Come on, Tony, stay in the back. Don't go on screen. I think that's one of the things that I think people loved AEW for the most was the back. Say obviously besides the Young Bucks,
Yeah.
they're not on screen. Like Tony Khan does it. Like if he comes out, he does an announcement. He's not getting involved in matches and screwing
hmm
people over and you know doing that type of stuff. He's doing his thing in the back. He's staying away. But then when that happened, I mean, at least he played into it when he hurt his neck
He
when he was on
did.
the draft.
He hurt his neck and had the brace, the little
Yeah, when he was
thingy
on
on,
the
but he
NFL
kept turning
draft.
his head.
Yeah,
You ever notice that? He
he's
kept
he's
turning
a,
it.
he's a owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's at the NFL draft with the
with
thing
the
on his neck,
thing.
like that's
But he
like
kept turning his head as like you're supposed
yeah,
to
he's just
like
like
not turn, but he's just like, yeah, yeah,
that's
guys,
awesome.
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna like do the gimmick, you gotta go fully into it. I guess that's how it's supposed to be done anyway. That's how I mean
Yeah,
that's how you're supposed to do it. You gotta stick with the gimmick. Don't break
exactly. You
kayfabe, as
gotta
they
you gotta
say.
go full throttle. Got to do the whole thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't skimp on any of that stuff.
Not at
Um,
all.
and with so just to pivot a little bit with like social media,
Mhm.
um, influencing and all that type of stuff. Would you? I know that's like a lot of people don't like that word, like social media influence. Do you consider yourself as a social media influencer or anything like that? Like, do
Um,
you influence? I mean, you influenced me to follow your page after seeing all the like the cosplay and the makeup and all that stuff. I was like, holy crap,
oh,
this
thank
is
you.
insane.
Um, I think I used to do a little bit more influencing before. Now I kind of just create content whenever I'm able to, because my job is super demanding and we're actually about to go into like the busy time of the year at my job. So it's not going to be as frequent. I try to
Yeah,
do what I can. It's mostly stories for me. Like I try to do a lot of stories. So like I'll catch up with like in my stories like at work, or if I get home and I'm watching like wrestling or something, I might have like an opinion. Or there be times when like I am very either strongly against something or for something. I have to
yeah,
give my little opinion on it in my story. So it's mostly stories, not so much like the actual like posts, but I wouldn't say I'm so much an influencer anymore. Really just kind of like a content whenever I can
yeah.
creator.
Okay. Like a part-time content creator, pretty much.
Yeah.
Something like
I'm
that.
gonna try to get back more into the influencing because that was a lot of fun, but
Yeah.
the job's so demanding and kind of
I
don't have
mean,
the time.
like that's that actually you actually and you kind of brought up my next question. Like how does it, how do you feel? I mean, I know how it is. I have my own like personal life and stuff, and to do with
Hmm.
this, like how do you juggle both things, like your work life and your social media life?
Um, I kind of make like a every Friday I go live, me and my best friend, who's also, she creates content as well. We go live every Friday on Lucia Does. And we just kind of talk. And that's actually where my following started. I was just bored stay at home mom that had nothing to do. And I just went online and started just talking and doing stuff and
Yeah,
talking shit and, that kind of thing. And, making friends that way. And that's really where my following came from. So I'm like, let's go back to the roots. We're going to just do this live every Friday. So we go on there. I might talk a little bit about some wrestling if,
mm.
someone asks about it, but basically it's kind of just like, hey guys, what's up? How you guys doing? What's it like? We just talk and stuff, and then that's when people kind of like they're like, oh, like this was a cool little, live. Let me go see what she does. Let me go to her page. And then like, oh, you're into, da da da. So that's kind of how like I get my people, from just like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I want to try to do a little bit more. It's just very hard. It's my job is very demanding. I'm very like busy with that. I have
hmm,
agents messaging me all the time and
yeah.
calling me and stuff. So it is a little bit more difficult to do it. And by the time it's the weekend, I'm exhausted and I'm ready to just not do a single thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's very hard trying to come up with like time to do something. I really have to schedule everything and plan everything out in advance. I can't just like I used to when I was before I had this job. I used to just be like, oh, today I feel like painting, or oh, today I feel
Yeah.
like putting on makeup or putting on a costume or doing this and that. Now it's kind of like, okay, in 3 weeks, I'm going to have this time off and I'm not going to be doing anything this day. I'm going to do this. So have all the stuff ready. I'm going to do it at this time. And I have to let everybody know I am not available during this time because I'm doing this. So it's a lot of planning. It's possible, but it's a lot.
Oh yeah. No, like I said, even doing this and you know, because obviously my show is guest oriented, so I'm working around whatever that other person is. Obviously, because we've been
Yeah.
messaging back and forth for like a couple of weeks anyway, and just trying to like figure out a time and stuff. So like I'm at the for the most part I'm at the mercy of the other person. Like
Yeah.
if they can't do it, I gotta kind of try to pivot and maybe do my own thing, or
Hmm.
try to keep stuff going. And it definitely is hard. I'll tell you
It
that much. Just
is.
like kind of you almost living like a double life
A
or like
double
two
life,
jobs.
exactly. And honestly, like who I am online is totally different from who I am in person.
Mm,
So, like my agents, they might see me online and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you do this. Like, because I don't talk about this at work, like I don't talk about this. You would know I'm a wrestling fan if you know who Mick Foley is, only because I have a
Yes.
little Mick Foley on my desk. And that is literally
Yeah.
all you would know about that, right? So, like, things like that, they'd be like, holy shit, you do all of this. Like, you do makeup, you do this, you do that. Like, that's so crazy, So, like, I keep my lives very separate. It is very much like having a double life, for sure.
Yeah. Oh man. Is it yeah, like you kind of brought it up. Is it tough keeping this like the social media separate from the personal? I
Well,
mean, obviously because there's gonna be people that follow your page and stuff and from
yeah.
work or work, friends, family and stuff like that. How do you
So I don't
explain?
talk about social media at all at work.
Mm.
So if you found me, it's because, well, I have to give my number obviously out to my agents and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So they might find me because, like on TikTok it might be like people you may know based on your contacts, and they might
exactly.
see me on there and be like, "Holy shit, that's Lucia." And like that is how people follow me, and I just tell my agents, if you follow me, don't follow, or like if you see me, don't follow me. Cuz it's kind of
Yeah,
like, like this is my time away from work. This is my
yep,
home away from work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
exactly.
want you there and here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so I just tell them, don't follow me. If you do, like, keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody else, please. So
Yeah, if they
yeah.
see the get creeped out by the nun, the
And you
nun
know what? Actually, it's funny because a lot of them are like, they're like, that nun thing was so cool. Like, that's so good. And they're like, are you dressing up during Halloween at work? I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm working. Like,
Yeah, no, that's the other thing. They're gonna be like, want you to like dress as
all the
like
time.
Mario or you
So
know.
I actually dressed up as Mario a couple weeks ago. That one where I
Oh,
did the
nice.
Joe Hendry thing, that was because we had a Comic-Con day at work.
Mm.
And the people who found me online were like, Lucia does this all the time. Get her to do it. She has to dress up. So I was like, okay, how can I keep this work appropriate? Because my outfits are not work appropriate when I do. They're
Yes,
not work
yes.
appropriate. So I'm like, okay, how can I make this work appropriate? So that was, yeah. That's all I could come up. That was the only outfit I had that was work appropriate.
Oh
So
my god, I can
unless
imagine.
I was gonna be Mick Foley, and I couldn't wear the mask all day. So
I can imagine like them asking like, "Oh, you can come? Can you come as Poison Ivy or or Storm or something like that?" Or um, I think it was it. Yeah, I think you did do Storm, right? I think that was one of the ones I
I
seen.
did Storm.
Storm for
Yeah,
next
I
time.
did Storm
Yeah.
last BlurredCon. Yep.
Yeah, that was a pretty actually. Do you, if you were if they were to ask you something, obviously you're not gonna are you gonna pick something that's easy to do? You're not gonna sit there and do the whole like makeup and all that stuff to go in
No.
for that type of thing.
No.
You're
That
like, no,
time of the
okay,
year, like for Halloween, that's like our busiest time of the year. So
yeah.
I might actually be working like a 15-hour day. I
Mm.
am not going to be spending an hour before putting on like paint. So no.
Oh, okay, got it. And as far as obviously work, social media stuff, is there any other interests that you are in like anything you're else you're into, like music, movies, TV? Do you have
I
the
mean,
time to do reading books, that type of
okay,
stuff?
so I wish I had the time to read books, but I used to have a lot of time to read books, so I used to, but not anymore. I do find, like a couple hours, maybe an hour if I can, to like watch TV or something like
Yeah,
that. So I just picked up House of the Dragon, so I just
nice.
finished season 1, about to start season 2 probably this weekend. But yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Marvel movies. I, Game of Thrones, love it. But wrestling is like every day. So
Yeah, that's tough. That
it's
takes up the
on all
majority.
the time. Like, so I
Yeah,
actually I try to watch TNA when I can, but I try to take like Thursdays off from wrestling. I might have NXT in the background on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are kind of my like day to not watch so much wrestling, but I always end up
yeah.
watching wrestling anyway.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I'm the same way. I mean, you can kind of watch just NXT and see TNA people anyway because they have like that working
Exactly.
relationship now. It
Exactly.
seems like freaking Joe Hendry's gonna be might
Oh,
be the champion at some point. I think.
I don't know if he's gonna be champion. He's not gonna win that over Ethan Page. Not that at all.
Yeah, I do love
But
the fact that they're this is that they're this is what I wanted AEW to do when Kenny Omega, not to get into wrestling talk, but like when Kenny Omega was like the belt collector and he had that TNA Impact like crossover. That's what I
mhm.
wanted more of like them
Yep,
like kind of like an invasion, not an invasion, but like a lot more bodies being swapped between the
exactly.
companies,
They
stuff
did
like that.
nothing with that. That could have been
Yeah,
so much better. They could have had Joe Hendry. Like, let's be real.
dude, like Jordan Grace main eventing and like a WWE pay per
Crazy.
view was insane. That was like unprecedented, and definitely hope to see.
Crazy.
Because I did see that you went to a show and you definitely seen John Grisham.
I've seen him
Uh,
like 3 times actually.
he's one of the he's definitely one of the, like the better or actually he's one of
Oh,
the best
he's
technical wrestlers out there.
awesome at it. Oh, yeah, I can't
Yeah,
believe I forgot him. Yes.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's I was very upset when that whole ROH thing happened with him. I was hoping he
Yeah.
would
Very
find his way
unfair.
into NXT or TNA or something like that, and or maybe if he did show up in TNA, show up in NXT, something like that. Because I
Hmm.
definitely want to see him on. I want to I want people to see like not that WWE doesn't have any technical wrestlers, but I think they need
They don't
someone
put
like
as much
him.
emphasis on it. I think they have technical wrestlers. It's just that it's not so much about the wrestling, it's more about the entertainment part of it,
Exactly.
which is
Yeah.
why I don't really like care too much for WWE. I'll
Yeah.
watch it and I'll keep up with it, but everything that I watch for is the entertainment, like the Bloodline and
Yeah.
Wyatt Six and you know Bianca and Jade. I'm not watching for your match. Like I'm watching for the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as far as like, do you are you into like you because you said you like death matches? Are you into horror movies or anything like that? Or like, are you into do you because you said like obviously you love Marvel and Star Wars and stuff, but what's your genre of movie?
Funny enough, horror movies are a little too gory for me sometimes. I can't believe I just said that.
That's
They're a little gory. They're a little bit, it's kind of like, now this is
so
ridiculous. Why are you doing?
so it's okay for Nick Gage to slice someone's head open with a pizza
You know,
cutter.
you know
But
what?
you can't watch
So
any.
I when he had that match with Jericho, um at AEW, like his debut in AEW. That match with Jericho, that was actually I think it was the day before my birthday.
Yeah.
And it was my first time seeing Nick Gage in person.
Hmm.
Maybe no, it was the first time seeing Nick Gage in person. Then I saw him again at a GCW match and he came out and there was like glass. It was so awesome and just like man, Nick Gage is one of my favorites. Yeah, his stuff is awesome, but anything that's done in a movie, I'm like, oh, that's just disgusting. That's
That's
gross.
that's
Like,
that's insane to me.
why
That's
would you
so
do
weird.
that? This is inhumane. Like, what? But yeah, no, I they're a little too gory for me. If I'm gonna watch a movie, like one of those movies, I'm a mafia movie girl. I can watch
Okay.
The Godfather over and over and over. Only the first two, the third one does not exist. Um, I One of my favorite movies is Goodfellas. I like the classics, but
Oh,
then
of
I also
course.
like a good like psychological thriller. Those are
Hmm.
good.
What would you
Yeah.
say? What would you say is your? I want to say your favorite, but what comes to mind? What psychological thriller comes to mind? I don't want you to like kind of.
Ooh, I haven't like let me think. I haven't really watched like a movie in a while. It's usually just like TV shows, just trying to catch up on
Yeah,
everything.
same
But
here.
it's so there's so much. Like let me think. What's the last psychological thriller that I guess was supposed to be a horror movie, but it didn't feel like a horror movie to me was Late Night with the Devil. I thought that was pretty
Oh,
good.
I didn't see. I want to see that.
Yeah,
I
it
want to
wasn't
see
really
it.
like a horror movie. It was more a psychological thriller because you're just not sure like what's real and what's not, you
Yeah.
know?
So, are you one of those people that is afraid of watching those types of movies with like demons and devils, and because all like
No.
people say if you whatever you watch you allow into your
Into
home. Are
your
you one
house.
of those people? Yeah.
Well, so okay, funny that you say this. Okay, so I'm really usually not, but there's one movie that I cannot watch to this day. Just
Oh boy.
can't do it, and it's The Exorcist.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, that's a
and
timeless classic.
it is, right? And I can't watch it because every time I've tried to watch this movie, something happens. So I'm
it
like, I'm not gonna fuck with this anymore. I'm not even gonna try.
That movie is too. I don't. Obviously, it's a very old movie, but at the same time, there's something like it. I'm not sure if it's off. I don't know. It's weird. It's just, obviously it's a movie, but it seems real for some reason. At the same time, it's like it's a
I
movie,
think
but it seems like it's actually
it's
happening. Like
kind of
it's too
real.
raw. Yeah,
And it was just
it's
I've never seen it. So, like I've seen maybe the first 20 minutes of the movie.
yeah,
And I have not seen anything past that because literally every time I've tried to watch the movie, something happens and I can't get past that first 20 minutes. It's like it'd be okay, let me just tell you what happened. So, when I was in high school, my friends and I went to Blockbuster, okay? So we went to Blockbuster and rented the DVD and took it home and with to one of my friend's house, and we went in her basement. We were trying to watch the movie, and it started skipping about 20 minutes into it. We're like, okay, it's still early, let's go back, it's around the corner. We go back and we get a new one, totally new one. We watched him put it over there, we went and grabbed another one and played it, and it started skipping in the same spot. So we were like, okay, never mind. We're just not even gonna watch this. We'll go get something
yeah,
else, blah, blah. Right.
yeah.
We go on. So then a few years later, I was home watching TV, and this is before we had like cable and like, on demand and stuff. So I mean, not cable. We had cable, obviously, but I saw it playing on. I want to say it was like AMC or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay. It hasn't started yet. It starts in like 10 minutes. I'm just gonna watch it, and I won't have to worry about it. So I wait until watch the show that came on before it, start the movie, and it was raining outside. And as we got up to about the 20-minute mark, right about the same place, my power went out.
Oh boy.
And I was like, this feels like a sign. I work in threes. So if something has happened to me 3 times,
Yeah.
I don't mess with it. So
Yep.
never try it again. I've literally never even tried. There like I'm actually pretty sure we own it on Vudu. I won't watch it.
Yeah.
Won't watch it.
it's it's yeah. I'm the same way. I'm a three strikes you're out
Yep.
person. Yeah, I'd probably do the same thing. I haven't watched it recently. I watched it fully a very very long time ago, and I don't think I've ever. I don't know if it's subconsciously I don't want to watch it again, but I don't feel like you have to watch it like on repeat. Like it's not one
More
of the
than
movies like
once.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw on Exorcist and watch it again. It's like,
And
but I
honestly,
mean,
they've done it so many other times
there's so many
better.
other Exorcist
So
movies too. Have you watched any other type of exorcism type movies like The Exorcism
um
of Emily Rose
I
comes to
haven't seen
mind?
that one, but there was one
Jeez, that one
pretty
creeped me out
pretty
really
recently.
bad.
There was one that came out not too long ago that I saw. And I was just kind of like,
No, that the exorcism because some of them are based. I mean, they're supposedly based on real events.
real
I
events,
think the
yeah.
exorcism of Emily Rose was supposedly based on a real thing. That movie creeped me out. That movie, not as much as Exorcist, but that scared the crap out of
Something
me. It
about
definitely,
it. Yeah, it just
yeah, no, it's
I
knowing
I
that it
tend to
kind of,
stay away from those. Like
yeah, if it could have
religious type of
happened,
movies, I kind of I'm good.
yeah.
Mm.
So as far as like horror movies, so are you paranormal like ghost movie like ones with like paranormal activity? Like, are you fine with those? Or are those do
Those
you
never
stay away
really
from as well?
interested me.
Okay,
I would think things like The Witch or
like
like I said, I
Ghost,
love the classics. So give me a good Halloween. Give
yeah,
me Jason. Give me, all of that. I'm a good definitely a classics girl. Um I
like Blair
like
Witch Project, anything like that? Would that creep you out or no?
that didn't
Probably
really
not.
do it for me either. I wasn't interested. Like the found footage movies don't really do it for me
No.
because there's
Ugh.
always something in it, and I'm like, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like I can't believe you really did it. You're lost in the woods and you decided to turn on your camera. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Like it's just
yeah.
like a level of like, like you're not smart. And I don't know
Yeah,
if I want to watch it not be smart for an hour and a half. So, you know.
yeah. The only
Um
series, yeah, the only series I let fly with that is there's a series called VHS, V
oh
slash
yeah,
H
yeah,
slash
yeah.
S. Yeah, like
Mhm.
that's the only found footage like movie series I let go because it's like it's found footage, but it's found footage to the extreme. So like
Yeah.
there's some crazy stuff. Like one of them, like they end up like I think like one of these dude, it's a couple of dudes they end up going to hell or something like that, and they're like, yo, it's a found. They're like walking. One of them has a camera, and the other one is there's like that type of stuff gets a little crazy.
They have
But
found
like,
footage of hell. Okay. See,
well, so
that's what I'm
basically
talking
it's
about.
like
Like, I'm
the
good.
big because it's
Like
like it's one of those anthology series. So like each movie is a bunch of short stories that kind of
oh,
connect to
gotcha.
each
Okay.
other. So like there's an overarching story, but like each
But
little
each thing,
story
yeah,
is like
got
connected
you.
to it. So one of the stories was it was like these two dudes are like documentary guys and they break into this house and they stumble upon this like it looked like a seance happening. There's like a bunch of people around this woman giving birth, and it's like they try to, I guess, they're trying to have her give the birth, give give
Mm-mm.
birth to the devil, essentially. So
Oh
what happens
no.
is they, obviously they get caught, the two dudes that are filming them, and they end up like something happens. They end up going like to hell. Like that's how they get knocked out. They wake up and they're in like the fiery depths of hell. And they're trying to escape
With
and
the
stuff like
camera.
that with the camera. Yeah,
With
so
the
that's
camera,
the
of
only
course.
time I'll let it go. Like
Of
that.
course. Bring the camera. Don't forget to bring the camera
I mean,
with you as we're
you
going to
gotta bring it,
hell.
dude.
Yeah.
If you're going to the depths of hell, you gotta bring the camera to like
Gotta bring the
document it.
camera.
Of
Yeah.
course, like why
Or it
not?
didn't happen, right?
Or,
So
yeah, exactly. Pictures or video, it didn't happen. Oh man, but no, I usually like to ask that question because like a lot of like I ask what are other interests besides wrestling because a lot of people obviously you love wrestling, that's what you watch, but like people have other interests. Like I love basketball. I love other, I love different
hmm
types of sports. Um, I try to read sometimes.
it's just
Not too
not
much.
as
I have a very short
possible when you're
attention
an
span. Yeah,
adult, you know?
yeah, and especially with kids too, as well. So
Yeah.
that's a no go at all on my side. Like if I read, it's reading a story or something like that. That's
Yeah,
pretty much the
exactly.
gist of it that's happening. Um, so my last question to you would be: What's the do you see a future with Lashes and Lariats, like as a brand? Do you want to expand on it, or is it something that you're just gonna, it's gonna be like my side page, and I'm just gonna, post to it here and there?
Well, funny enough, my brand, like, or my page has grown significantly just this year. Like,
Yeah,
earlier this year, I was like really kind of like wondering if I should even keep the page anymore because I couldn't make it past 1,100 followers. I think it was like
yeah,
almost, it was like just after 1,000 followers. And I'm like, I can't get past this part. So I'm like, I didn't put too much, attention on it. Then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Nobody's watching me anyway. Let's just do some shit.
yeah,
So I just started posting like whatever. And like sometimes I'd have like some good engagement on a story. And so I just posted. I'm like, like I said, no one's watching it anyway. So
yeah,
let's
yeah,
just post it on it.
exactly.
And then lo and behold, it has huge like it goes viral or something like that. There's been so many times when I do some like little tiny like something that took me less than 5 minutes to do and it goes viral. And I'm like, there's no rhyme or reason to this. I might try to just, whatever. If I can just post anything and it'll do well, then sure. Let me just post whatever. So yeah, I'm hoping it will, grow. I think I'm pretty close to almost 3,000 followers, which I didn't even notice until
Yeah,
today when I was like looking at my page. I was like, "Oh my god, when did I get here?" So,
yeah,
that's been happening. So, yeah, I can see like some kind of like something happening. I am uh I do this thing like every day that I am able to at work. I'll do like a little like outfit, and I'll like talk, like do my outfit. Like, this is what I'm wearing today, and it'll be
Yep.
just like, hey guys, that. And I always do this thing where, like, especially if I have on like a low cut shirt, I'll be like, titties.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, um,
Yeah.
and like it started out as a joke because like there was one day where my like boobs were out and they were like really out, and I was like, oh, okay, titties. But then like I had another shirt on was kind of low cut the next day. They were like, "So where's the titties?" So like I'm like, "Okay, so maybe that's a thing." So I was thinking maybe
That was
we
a
could do
demand.
something like something with that. I
Oh,
can
it's funny.
maybe wrestling and titties sounds great. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, figure it out. I don't know.
Is that
So
the
I'm not sure
Oh my
where it's
god,
gonna go, but I do want it to do something.
that's funny. One of the because I did one of the mankind one in particular. When you're like, what the hell? What did you say? You're like, you ever see a
Ever seen
mankind
the
with
caked
cake?
up Mick
Yeah,
Foley?
you caked up, Mick.
That was actually, like I said, like some of my
That
stories
was
go
hilarious.
viral, and I'm just like, I didn't think it was gonna do anything. That was literally just me being stupid in my hotel room as I'm walking out the door, and I'm waiting for my friend, and I'm like, "You ever seen a caked up Mick Foley, huh? Huh?" And nobody was really supposed to pay any attention to that. It was a story, and I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, you know what, that would be funny to post. So I
I la-
posted it, and it actually did well. It's like, okay, of
That's
course.
funny. Like when you bring that that type of humor to it,
Oh yeah.
you can't go wrong with that at all. I was that's why I brought it up. I was like that was freaking hilarious. It was
Oh,
so funny.
trust me, I'm
I was like, you
the
know what? I was like, I
dude
never
loves
seen a
in the
caked up
works.
mankind. I
Dude
mean,
loves
man,
in the works.
have
We
you
got
ever
some Cactus Jack and Dude Love coming to it. Trust me.
has have you ever thought about because what I started doing too was you know do a lot more collaborations on Instagram. That helped me out a lot with followers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially collaborating with Gold Bars and Hooks or
Hmm.
Justin from the Wrestling Classic. Um, you know, just sending them adding them to one of my things, and if they accept it, obviously they do. If they don't, they don't. But
Yeah.
that definitely helped me out a significant. I think nowadays too, like obviously you could do things on your own, but it definitely helps to you know try to get someone else
Yeah.
to
Get people
post.
in on it, of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
definitely. Yeah, that's what I mean. We're kind of giving away my secret sauce, but that's what I think it is nowadays. I think you have to
It
yeah, especially if
is.
you're just trying to build your page, you have to
It's the
kind of
community, it's the
yeah,
community. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
I
definitely.
I'm very open to collabing. It's just my lack of time makes it so that collabing is not as hard or not as easy. I mean, so it's a
Yeah,
little bit harder for me to do it and like be on time and be do a schedule and like all that stuff because so
yeah,
so much, if it's not one thing, it's another, as an
yep,
adult. It's like everything goes wrong on the same day, and it's kind of like, when is there
yeah,
time to do anything, so
yeah.
I will try. I just have to schedule it better. I think that's what the thing was gonna have to be, just
Oh
me
yeah,
scheduling better.
yeah, definitely. And I think if you were to say hey, I have this I have this cosplay, blah blah blah. I'm gonna post. Do you mind posting? Do you want to collaborate on it, stuff like that? I'd be like, yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, or if anyone else is
Okay.
that's doing that's a page. I'm trying to like you said, use the community. Try to
Yeah.
encourage every. Yeah, we're all here because of wrestling. I say this show that I created. Obviously, it's a we talk about other things. We talk about the other person more than
Hmm.
anything. But my thing is the blueprint, the base of this show is the love of wrestling. That's what pretty much catches me, or what catches my eye to most people.
Hmm.
And then I want to figure out oh, where'd they get this name? How'd they come up with this? Or
Yeah.
where'd they get the
Gonna
idea to
know
do
about
that?
them.
So
Yeah.
that's what kind of that's how I kind of do it. So and from there, I've met so many great people doing this as well, and continued relationships with these people. So I think it could go something like that can go beyond further. I think we should stay closer together. We should all kind of
Absolutely.
it's a wrestling community. But I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm trying to diminish the tribalism aspect of wrestling and try to make it one
Yeah.
community. Try
It's
to
for
do
everybody.
my little
Yeah.
part. in doing that, because I
Mm-hmm.
think that's one of the things that we should kind of. I mean, I don't go on X much. I do run the Chick Foley Show X page, and
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever been on there, it's like no man's land. It's like it's bad. It's
Yeah, I don't
it's
go
a
on
lot
there
of
very much
negativity.
because it's very yeah, the
Yeah,
wrestling community can be very negative. It's
yeah,
very
especially on X. Yeah,
yeah,
Instagram's fine. Like the comments might get a little crazy when you post something, but
but
you can pretty much ignore that.
not like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, not
a
like to
little
X. X is
misogynistic, a
crazy.
little bit, maybe a little
Yeah,
racist every once in a while,
yeah,
but it's pretty chill on Instagram. But yeah, I don't go on X anymore at all because it's kind of like kind of scared to go on there. You
yeah,
might see
yeah.
some
No, yeah. That's why
crazy shit
they.
on
Yeah,
there.
that's why. Yeah, Sheena was like, "Hey, you want to run the the
I
Twitter
feel
page
it.
at the time?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then just going on, I'm like, "Geez, these
They're
people are ruthless.
crazy.
They're
Yeah.
insane."
It's like,
Um,
dude, it's a show.
yeah, it's oh my god, the stuff you see on there. But actually, that wasn't my last question. I do have a question because you're a lady. I do have to ask, how do you feel about women's wrestling nowadays? Obviously, if you've watched the older stuff, like back in the Attitude Era and all that, um, how
It's a
do you
little
feel
different.
like how do you feel like it's in the spot now? Like, do you feel like it's in a great spot? Do you feel like it could grow? Do you feel
Well, it
like
can
it's
absolutely grow.
plateaued?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, it is it is more of what appeals to me as a wrestling fan now than it did back then. Because I will say that like even just going back now and watching like Divas era type
Oh God.
stuff, not really the best.
No.
The wrestling was not the focus at all.
Nope.
um I'm very much more into the wrestling than the boobs, but I,
Yeah.
but that's the whole era, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
I enjoy women's wrestling a lot more now. I will say that I feel like I don't feel that the women wrestlers that I feel should have a little bit more shine are having that shine.
Yep.
And I
I would
will say the
agree.
people that are having the shine are kind of throwing it away, and I don't really know exactly what they're doing with that. Eh, I I I have opinions on a lot.
Yeah.
I do have opinions on a lot of it. I Not sure which one is better, AEW or WWE for that one, honestly. If I was to choose any wrestling promotion that has the best women's wrestlers, I would say New Japan. Like that's
Yeah.
where I would go there because it's kind of like that's where they're actually wrestling. It's not just about how, cute you are,
Yeah.
whatever. And now I'm not saying like they're like all of it is like that, right? Because you got like Rhea and you got,
Yeah.
like people who are really dominating, Bianca, things like that. But it's also like that shine is also diminished a little bit because
Yeah.
why did Bianca and Jade lose those titles?
Yeah. Yep. That's another whole. That's
Yeah,
another
so
whole.
yeah, I have a lot of opinions on that. It's like they don't know what they're doing with them, but it's almost just kind of like do the same thing you're doing with the guys. Let them fucking wrestle and
Yeah. I have
yeah.
my own opinions on that too. It's like it's one of for the women's. I'll say for not really for AEW, but for WWE in particular, the caliber of ladies that they have wrestling now are, like you said, it's more like if Jade and Bianca should technically have those titles forever. We'll put it that way. Like there's no one can that physically on that roster that maybe obviously Rhea, or
Yeah.
what's her name? Why am I forgetting her name? Gonzalez, Raquel,
Oh,
Raquel,
Raquel. Mm-hmm.
Raquel, Rhea, physically gifted ladies like that are
Mm-hmm.
muscular and all that type of stuff. Like technically they could, but I think they ran into a spot where for WWE in particular, not AEW, but in WWE they have these like advanced ladies that it's like how do you book them without giving those other ladies a chance? Like a Nia Jax, Jade, Bianca, Rhea, Raquel, those five ladies. Like realistically, if you're a casual wrestling fan, do you believe a Dakota or a Io Sky is beating a
I
Jade or
mean,
a
see, that's
Bianca?
the thing. Like, I could see an Io Sky or a Dakota winning
Yeah,
over it, but it's more like what would kind of like is weird to me is like, how did Rio win over Nyla Rose?
yeah. See, that's
How that's
yeah,
when I'm like, I don't really
yeah, yeah,
understand it.
yeah,
Like, how is it that, Jade is just unstoppable, never lost a single match, well, except the one.
yeah,
But then like you have Chris Statlander come out who's the same size,
yeah,
and then someone else beats her who's half her size. And it's kind of like,
yeah.
the inconsistency is kind of like,
That's what
you
I'm getting
know,
at. Yeah,
yeah.
they have to book it in a way where it's the people like with the men obviously with like back in the day with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, they're the smaller guys going up against the bigger guys. So like, but they made it. When you watch Bret face Diesel or Kevin Nash, it looked
Hmm.
you know you didn't have any like doubt in your mind that Bret Hart couldn't win that match. Like
Right.
they made it in a way where he made it so he could win. Like he worked on the leg. He chopped him down to size. He did what he
They
needed to do.
don't
I
do
think,
that.
yeah, that's what it is. Like the women get in there that are the powerful women get in and they just dominate. There's no
Hmm.
like offense from the smaller ladies. And then that's what they need to I think that's what they need to work on. I mean, but other than that, like I said, that's a whole nother
Whole other
a
video. Yep,
whole other, I
exactly.
only like I said, I only focus on WWE because that's what I mean, I watch everything, but like I have a weekly program that we talk about WWE, so like we're always talking about that stuff. But that
Hmm.
just pops in my mind. I forgot about Chris Statlander and Nyla Rose and Camille too as well. They're start see that like the AEW starting to get that those caliber of women, so they got to watch out how
Yeah, but they're
it's
not going to do
presented.
anything with it.
Look what it. I mean, I'm kind of dating the show, which I don't like to, but Hikaru Shida, you know, kind of backing down Camille. Like, no, Camille
Yeah.
should be the opposing. I'm the dominant one. You're not backing me down, type of deal. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's another story. Well, it's another thing. But
Yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's a whole
but
different
other than that,
conversation.
this is great. Thank you for being on the show. You are
Absolutely.
awesome. I
Thank you
definitely
for inviting me.
definitely love to have you on again at some point. I mean, if you're
Sure.
down to do so, I know it's personal life, like I said, my life, your life. We have some crazy things happening, so it's hard to pin down a date to do
A
so. But
time. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No,
definitely
just
would love
let
to
me
have you
know.
on.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, to talk some talk a little bit more wrestling because I want to get your takes on some things because I think not no I don't normally do that on this show like talk about like wrestling takes and stuff, but
Hmm.
definitely want to get your get your thoughts on the wrestling world because
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love
yeah,
that.
because I think it's needed. I think it's needed sometimes. We see very I mean that I kind of missed this question, but there's a handful of like ladies out there, content creators that are talking wrestling and stuff like that, and you
Hmm.
know there's a I think there's a huge space for it for ladies
Absolutely.
anyway. And I think you know something can be done there. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's more like I said collaboration. I think
I think it's more collaboration. I think
more
it's,
just teaming
yep,
up, ladies, team up, just
it
take
is.
over. I want to see that. Like I love like the WWD podcasts. Like you know they
I love
those
them.
ladies.
Yes.
Yeah, they get
Love
that
them.
they're on. I love when like a group of ladies get together and they're talking
Yep.
wrestling. That's like I said, I come from a two sisters. I didn't have any brothers growing up, so and myself, I have two daughters, and
Oh, you're
so
just
like
surrounded.
I'm surrounded by. I mean, I have a son too, but I'm surrounded. I've been always surrounded by like women and stuff like that. It's one of those things that I like to see. You know, the succession, like women succeeding
Hmm.
and things and stuff like that. So if there's any way I could like help or like kind of maneuver it, I think that's the reason why I like started with the Chick Foley show because at
Hmm.
2013, 2014, she was like the only wrestling oriented IG page that was like actually like commentating on wrestling and
Yeah.
giving her thoughts and stuff like that. So like that
Mm-hmm.
drew me to her, and obviously the rest is history. But now I'm starting to see it a little bit more. Like you
Yeah.
obviously
They're out
a lot of
there.
other podcasters, but it's all
Yep.
like I want it in the forefront more. That's what I'm kind
Oh
of
yeah, we're gonna
looking
work
at.
on
But
that for sure.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I definitely would love to be an advocate of it in some way, shape, or form. Because we had a
Absolutely.
for my show anyway. We have we were a 3-man, but now we're down to 2. One of the guys left. Definitely love to add a lady to it. That's what that's. I mean, I'm saying this publicly on air. My partner's probably gonna kill me, but I think that would definitely. I think that would definitely help out just to get a different perspective.
Yeah.
On things,
Honestly, my opinions sometimes are a little bit different than like the guys. And it'll be like, oh, I never thought about it from that perspective.
yeah,
Sometimes that fresh perspective and just something different, totally
yeah,
changes a lot of stuff. So yeah, no,
yeah.
absolutely.
Do you fence ride at all, or do you fall on one? Are you like a do you try to stay a fine line and try to be like a you try to play both sides, or you just fall hard on one side than the
It
other?
depends on what the thing is. It really depends because if it's something like oh man, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. I have very strong opinions on certain people
Yeah.
and things like that. So but I try not to be too opinionated because, like just in case I happen to meet him one day.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the other thing too. That's the other. Yeah, I try. I never. Obviously, I don't think I'm ever gonna meet anyone, but that's just my way of like kind of pushing on. But yeah, I never think of that. Like if you're at a show one day and oh hey,
And
I
they're
seen
like,
like
hey, weren't you
I
the
seen a clip
one
of
that
you.
was, yeah.
Yeah, I seen a clip of you on so and so's thing saying this about like oh jeez I shouldn't have said that.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say that. Like I was
I will
like
only say things if I feel that I can back it up in person. So,
oh man, when I was I've been trying to end the show, but like I gotta say this. When I was when Bianca lost to um Becky Lynch, like in
bullshit.
26 whatever that amount of
Hmm.
time was, and then like Becky went on her heel run. I was like, I mean, it wasn't a really good heel run anyway. Like I didn't think she was like a really great heel, but I was like, not the best. I was just like freaking. I wasn't fence riding at all. I
Hmm.
was like, this sucks. What the hell are they doing? Blah
Yeah,
blah
no, I was very much there
blah.
with you. I was like, this is some bullshit.
I was like, what
Like,
the
get
hell are
this
they
shit
doing?
off my yeah.
And it's like she's not a good heel. What the hell? And then like, why would? Yeah, it was just
Why
a
would
whole
you have
thing.
her lose like that? Yeah, no, trust me. Right
Yeah.
there
Oh man,
with
she had
you.
such a great run, and then she loses it. It was like the Kofi
It
Kingston with
was
Brock
Kofi.
Lesnar.
Oh my God. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And actually, before I let you go, what's your prediction for? Because I always say this: Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, however you know him, is a cornerstone in Black history. Mainly because WrestleMania 35 and his match with Kofi Kingston, putting that was the WrestleMania moment of that WrestleMania. I know it was main evented by first time ever 3 women, but that match that was the emotional match that made everyone cry and like
Hmm.
everyone was a part of. Do you think it happens again for Bryan and Swerve? Do you think Bryan Danielson is what I still want to wrestle. I'm taking that title, or it's it's my turn to put this guy over and have that another moment.
So would it be great for Swerve's career? Absolutely.
Yes.
Does it make sense for Swerve to retire Brian? No.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No.
And I think the person that should retire him is somebody who is in that same kind of like technical wrestling lane, someone that's new, like one of the pillars or something like that.
Mm.
I think it should be, I personally think the person that would benefit the most from retiring Brian would be Daniel Garcia,
Ooh, that's
because that would
true.
be a fucking awesome match. I think like having Osprey do it, yes, great match, but it's been done, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, even though yes, Garcia and Bryan's been done too, it's just kind of like he's coming up. Like Osprey doesn't need that.
Yeah. I would love Darby to
Ugh.
step up at some. No, you don't like Darby?
No,
Oh
my
my
God. And that
God.
stupid pink jacket. Oh my God. I can't. With that stupid fucking pink jacket. That jacket pisses me off. He looks like
Uh,
knockoff, like goth Doflamingo. I just, I don't know. I can't. I can't. I can't do it. It's too much.
Either that, like you said, either a pillow, like you said, maybe a MJF again. Maybe they go at it again in
I don't think
MJF.
it's I think he would only do it for somebody just knowing who Bryan is, right? I would think he would only do it for somebody that would need it. MJF
Yeah.
doesn't need it. MJF is basically Roman Reigns for AEW, right? He doesn't need it. I feel like
Do you
someone
think?
new would need it.
Okay. Do you think Swerve? You don't think Swerve needs it at all to
No.
put him over as
Swerve has
like
had
a
classic
solidified?
matches. He's had
That's true.
classic matches, okay? He doesn't need it because he already has like he has the titles, he has, his little run is going on. Do okay, I'm not even gonna say. I think that's a little too controversial, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say that. But I feel like Swerve doesn't need it. He has his own like little like thing going, but I think like a
Yeah.
young kid needs it. Like it would be really cool for like Wheeler Yuta to have it, or like
Yeah.
like I said, like Daniel Garcia to have it, or
Mm.
like he doesn't need it, but Nick Wayne, would be good with like that's not his lane, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
something like that. Some new kid, like a young kid needs it. I
Okay.
don't think I don't think anybody like Swerve needs it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get. Yeah. I mean, I could see it that way. I thought maybe they would not like repeat what they did with WrestleMania 35 and kind of have you know him pass the torch over to Swerve in a sense, not like pass the
Eh.
torch to him like, but
I don't really like Swerve's. Let me. Oh, God, I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. I don't like Swerve's run right now, so I don't think that this would be. I don't think that would in my opinion, it doesn't make
yeah,
sense for me. It doesn't make sense because it's kind of like all of this. You do all this build up with Hangman, and then you retire. You retire Bryan, and it's kind of like I don't know. It doesn't
yeah.
fit in the storyline.
Is this weird because he's facing supposedly? Did they announce it, or did I read like rumors that they're supposedly having that at the next pay per view is Swerve and Hangman again?
I don't
Would
know,
that?
but honestly, I don't need it. I've
Yeah,
seen it
no.
twice. I'm good. Like, we're good
Yeah.
here.
Do they need a rubber match? Who won? Was it? Yeah, it was Hangman won the first one, right?
Yeah,
And
and
then
then
Swerve
Swerve
won the
won this
second.
last one. Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna do a
I
third
don't
one.
need it again. I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. I think we all know that, but it's kind of like I don't need it. If it didn't happen, I'd be okay. Give it
Yeah,
a
that's
few
that's true.
years,
Yeah,
maybe I'll think about it.
yeah.
I'm
Leave it
good.
off with that match that they had with the blood drinking and stuff.
That was
That was
great. Such a
peak.
good match. Yeah.
All right, now I'll let you go because I went like way over time. But I want to thank you again for joining. This is amazing. You were amazing. You're a
Thank
great
you. This
guest.
was awesome.
Hopefully you had fun.
I did absolutely.
And we'll hopefully talk soon.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for
Well,
having me.
yeah. Let everyone know again where they can find you, where they can follow you.
All right. So you can follow me on my main page, I guess is what I've been calling it. It's Lucia underscore does, Lucia underscore does. And then my wrestling page is Lashes and Lariats. So you can find me there. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. I don't have a YouTube and I barely use X. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everyone out there, definitely follow her. Follow both pages. I just did. I only followed
thank you.
the Lashes and Lariats, and then I followed the other one after because, like I said, I thought she had a twin. Kayfabe. I was like, holy crap, she has a twin. This is weird. But she does not have a twin. She has a breaking kayfabe right now. She has a different page. But yeah, definitely follow both of those. You'll be very entertained. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, I'll talk to everyone soon and hope you enjoy the show. Peace.